Welcome to the Action Hero Podcast. Get ready for a daily dose of addictive action stories.
That's right, all in a fun, epic way with masterful storytelling that'll keep you craving more tales of adventure.
We're kicking things off with Trail of Shadows. Government conspiracies and mysterious codes, and a regular college student finding himself way over his head.
It's an ordinary hike that turns into a fight for survival and the truth.
Buckle up. Who knew puzzles could be so dangerous? Let's unpack this story.
Okay.
We've got Ben, our college student, on a backpacking trip.
He stumbles across a weathered notebook tucked under some rocks.
You're thinking classic hiker curiosity, right?
Right, but this isn't just any journal.
Oh.
It's filled with coded messages, dates frantic handwriting.
All pointing to something big.
Exactly.
And Ben, the puzzle enthusiast that he is, can't resist trying to crack the code.
Of course.
What do you think about that decision? Was it inevitable?
Well, that curiosity leads him into a world of trouble.
Oh.
His apartment is ransacked, the notebook is gone, and someone is watching him. It makes you wonder, at what point does curiosity become reckless?
Talk about a bad case of hiker's remorse. This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Ben decodes a name from the cipher, Project Solstice. A little internet sleuthing reveals a decades-old government weapons program and a whistleblower who vanished.
Wow.
Suddenly, it's not just a puzzle, it's a conspiracy.
And what's fascinating here is that Ben realizes he can't handle this alone.
So what does he do?
Enter Chloe, a barista, with a thing for conspiracy theories.
Interesting. They become this unlikely duo following the trail to a supposedly abandoned facility.
Turns out Project Solstice wasn't abandoned, just hidden.
Oh, really?
They find a secret lab containment tanks and a dangerous substance.
The stakes are getting higher.
But just as they make this discovery, they're ambushed. A chase ensues. Chloe sacrifices herself so Ben can escape with a flash drive containing proof of the conspiracy.
Wow, what a twist. And now Ben's on the run with this drive and the weight of Chloe's sacrifice.
He manages to flag down a trucker whose surprise is connected to an underground network fighting government secrets.
So he's not alone after all.
Exactly.
This is where the story leaves us hanging.
Right.
What'll Ben do with the evidence? Who else is involved? Will he ever find out what happened to Chloe? So many questions.
This is a classic setup for a larger conspiracy.
I can see that.
The seemingly random hiker stumbling onto something much bigger.
Right.
It taps into our fear of the unknown and those in power, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the introduction of Chloe adds another layer to this.
How so?
She's impulsive adventurous. A perfect contrast to Ben's more cautious nature.
Their partnership, forged in danger, reminds us that even the most unlikely allies can come together when facing a common threat.
And her sacrifice adds a whole other dimension to Ben's mission.
Definitely.
Now, it's not just about uncovering the truth, it's about honoring her memory.
Yes.
And that trucker appearing as a potential ally. That gives us a glimmer of hope in this otherwise pretty bleak situation.
It hints at a network fighting the conspiracy, which raises the question, who are they and what are their motives? We're left wanting more, eager to see how Ben uses the evidence and what other challenges he'll face.
Exactly. It's like Trail of Shadows is setting us up for a much larger story, a whole world of hidden truths and dangerous secrets.
And the ending leaves us with this lingering question.
Which is,
will Ben find out what really happened to Chloe? We're definitely hooked.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at Ben's transformation.
Okay.
He goes from everyday college student to a guy running for his life with a conspiracy on his shoulders.
Right.
Do you think the author makes that transition believable? What were your thoughts on that?
It's a rapid transformation, for sure. I think the author uses the sudden shift to highlight the impact of discovering a secret that has the potential to change everything. It forces Ben out of his comfort zone and into a world he never knew existed. But whether it's entirely believable is up for debate.
Right. We see this fish out of water trope quite often in action stories.
Yeah.
Speaking of tropes, the abandoned facility turning out to be an active secret lab feels like a classic too.
Absolutely. It plays into our fascination with hidden places and the idea that there are things going on right under our noses that we're completely unaware of.
Which begs the question, how much of this secret world is the author creating for entertainment, and how much is commentary on real-world secrecy? What do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. There's definitely an element of entertainment in playing up the mystery and danger, but the story also taps into real anxieties about government overreach surveillance and the suppression of information. It makes you wonder what secrets are being kept from us in the name of national security.
And that fear is further amplified by the whistleblower's disappearance. It suggests that those who try to expose the truth are silenced, adding a layer of real-world danger to the fictional narrative.
Exactly. It makes Ben's mission even more important because he's not just solving a puzzle anymore. He's fighting against the system that actively seeks to suppress the truth.
That brings us to Chloe's sacrifice. It's a pivotal moment that shifts the tone of the story from a fun adventure to a high-stakes fight for justice.
Her sacrifice is a classic example of raising the stakes and giving the protagonist an even greater sense of purpose. It adds an emotional weight to Ben's actions, making his success or failure feel even more significant.
It also highlights the theme of trust. Chloe trusts Ben with the flash drive, essentially entrusting him to carry on her fight. It's a powerful moment that speaks volumes about their relationship.
And then there's the introduction of the trucker, a potential ally emerging from the shadows. It's a glimmer of hope, suggesting that there are others out there who are aware of the conspiracy and are actively working against it.
This opens up a whole new set of questions. Who is this network? How organized are they? And what are their goals? It hints at a much larger world beyond Ben's immediate struggle.
And it plays into that classic action hero trope of the lone wolf finding a pack. Ben starts as an isolated individual but realizes he's part of something bigger, which adds another layer of complexity to his journey.
It's like the story is saying that even when fighting against powerful forces, you don't have to be alone. There's strength in numbers, and finding those who share your values can make all the difference.
This is where the story really starts to grip you. We're left wondering how Ben will navigate this new world, who he can trust, and how he'll use the evidence to expose the truth.
It's like we're right there with him, feeling the weight of his responsibility and the danger he's facing. Trail of Shadows doesn't just tell us a story, it draws us into its world.
And that's the mark of a good action story. It makes us care about the characters, their struggles, and the outcome of their fight. It keeps us on the edge of our seats wondering what will happen next.
Before we jump into those potential what-next scenarios, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the story's commentary on real-world secrecy. Do you think the author's trying to make a specific political statement here, or is it more about exploring a universal human fascination with the unknown?
That's a great question. I think it's more about tapping into a universal theme. Every society has its secrets, and there's always a tension between those in power and those who seek to uncover the truth.
Right, it's that classic us versus them dynamic that we see throughout history and across cultures.
Exactly. And Trail of Shadows plays on that dynamic, using the fictional world to explore a very real human concern. The fear of being controlled, manipulated, or kept in the dark by those who hold power.
So while the story might not be making a specific political statement, it definitely invites us to reflect on these themes in our own lives.
Absolutely. It encourages us to be critical thinkers, to question the information we're given, and to be aware of the forces that might be shaping our perceptions of the world.
And that's a powerful message, regardless of your political leanings.
It is. It reminds us that we all have responsibility to seek the truth, to hold those in power accountable, and to be active participants in shaping the world we want to live in.
It's not just about enjoying a thrilling action story. It's about engaging with these bigger questions and thinking critically about the world around us. It's interesting how Trail of Shadows blends those big picture themes with a fast-paced, almost pulpy action style.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes the message more accessible, or does it risk trivializing the serious issues it touches on?
That's a good point. I think it can do both. On the one hand, the action elements make it a page-turner. You're caught up in the chase, the danger, the suspense. It's entertaining. And that entertainment can draw readers in who might not otherwise engage with these sorts of themes.
Right, it's like sneaking in a bit of social commentary under the guise of a thrilling adventure.
Exactly. But there's also a risk that the fast-paced action could overshadow the deeper message. It's a delicate balance.
So how do you think the author does in terms of striking that balance? Does the story manage to be both entertaining and thought-provoking?
I think it does for the most part. The action sequences are well-written and exciting, but the story also takes the time to pause and reflect on the implications of what's happening. There are moments where Ben questions his choices, grapples with the ethical dilemmas, and considers the broader impact of the conspiracy.
Like when he's wrestling with whether to trust the trucker or how to use the evidence without putting himself or others in danger.
Precisely. Those moments of reflection add depth to the story and prevent it from becoming just another mindless action flick.
It's like the story is saying, hey, this is fun and exciting, but it also makes you think.
Right, and that's what makes Trail of Shadows stand out. It's not just a story about a guy uncovering a conspiracy. It's a story about the choices we make when faced with difficult truths, the risks we're willing to take, and the importance of fighting for what we believe in, even when it's dangerous.
And it leaves us with that lingering question. What happens next? What will Ben do with the evidence? Will he find out what happened to Chloe? Will he bring down the conspiracy?
Those are the questions that keep you thinking long after you finish the story. And that's the mark of a good storyteller. They leave you wanting more, they spark your imagination, and they make you consider the possibilities.
It's like the story plants a seed in your mind, and you can't help but wonder how it will grow.
And that's the beauty of action stories like this. They can entertain us, thrill us, and challenge us all at the same time.
So as we wrap up this discussion of Trailless Shadows, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from it?
I hope they come away with a sense of curiosity, a desire to question the world around them, and the courage to seek out their own adventures, whether they're literal or metaphorical.
Because you never know what secrets are waiting to be uncovered, right?
Exactly. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of curiosity and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone to find them.
Well said. And on that note, be sure to rate and follow the Action Hero podcast for more heart-stopping stories.
Mm.
Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never underestimate the power of a good puzzle.